Opportunity that you can't miss is cooking in the kitchen with the legendary Lucy Greer. Chastity Bird is getting that opportunity right now.
You know what? Lucy Greer does her own jam sessions, but it usually involves maybe a knife, maybe some tools here in the kitchen. Your own kind of jam session,
We are having our own jam session today. We are going to make a Mediterranean baked shrimp, and it's something that we're going to put all in one baking dish and cook it in the oven and serve it over pasta.
Now, Lucy, we always talk about making it easier on the parents. Is this one of those things that you've told me about before that you can make ahead of time and freeze and then maybe heat up? Or tell me about that.
This is something that you could definitely make the day ahead, and we're going to use a couple of things that you probably have in your pantry, such as canned tomatoes, and then we're going to add a little bit of freshness with our spinach, and something good for the kids. So kind of doing something like this and slipping our green right into the dish instead of maybe having spinach on the side, as opposed to having it in there already. They may not pick around it as much.
And Lucy, you're always really good about that, about talking about parents, the easiest things for dinners, and this looks great.
Thank you. This is an easy one. Most kids love pasta, and of course you want to have everything in moderation, but what we're going to put on top of it is pretty helpful and good for you, especially with that shrimp, that lean protein.
And if you want to check out all the ingredients Lucy is putting on this, of course it's on our Fox 10 webpage if you're trying to maybe come up with an idea for tonight for dinner. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to, I'm assuming, doing the shrimp first?
Yeah, we'll do the shrimp first, and then we're going to do a quick, easy salad dressing a little bit later. So we're going to use 1 can of crushed tomatoes. Like I said, this may be stuff that you have in your pantry for making spaghetti. And 1 can of diced tomatoes. I like the petite diced tomatoes. They're just a little bit smaller.
Right.
And then I chopped up 5 cloves of fresh garlic. Just chop that up fine. And if you have the jarred garlic that's already minced up for you,
okay too.
That's completely fine, because I know that's
what I would probably go towards.
Yeah, it's a time saver, and if you don't have the fresh on hand, use the jarred. And then I did the juice of 1 lemon. So of course that's going to go great with our shrimp. And
what is the best way to juice a lemon, Lucy?
I have a little, don't leave home without it, this little strainer that I use all the time because I just don't like to pick the seeds out of everything. And, it's just like about this big, and it has a little handle on it, and so you can put it over your measuring cup or over anything. So, or when I'm using my microplane and I'm zesting, I didn't use the zest today, but a lot of times I use the zest of the citrus. Then I just turn it over, and it acts as a little strainer. So that's my second option.
Pretty fancy.
Then we're going to add a couple of spices. We have 2 teaspoons of dried dill. 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. A teaspoon of black pepper.
All of these sound great.
2 teaspoons of salt. And a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. And then I'm going to add 3/4 cup of dried white wine. And if you aren't a wine drinker, or if you don't prefer to cook with wine, you can substitute chicken broth for that, or vegetable broth, and that'd be completely fine. And
good to know.
And as far as cooking with wine, of course, the alcohol is going to cook out of it, and it's just going to leave the flavor. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of olive oil.
One of my favorite ingredients.
Yeah, this is a great ingredient for sauteing in this dish. It's going to give us a lot of moisture and keep those shrimp really tender while they cook. So we get that mixed up, and then we are going to add 1 Vidalia onion that I just thinly sliced.
That must have been a big onion.
It was a really big onion.
It looks like it.
Yeah, and you could use a red onion. I like the Vidalias because, of course, they're sweet. So we're going to add that in there.
This looks great so far, Lucy.
And then we are going to add 1 pound of shrimp. I just peeled these. So we're going to put that in there. And then we have our feta cheese, just 4 ounces of that. And then I've started chopping up our spinach. And I can just finish chopping that up maybe over the break. And we're just going to put all this together, and it'll be ready for the oven.
Perfect. And this, again, is on our website. Lucy's going to continue with her jam session, chopping up the spinach over here. And again, a great idea for dinner. You're trying to look for different things, tired of making spaghetti. This is a little bit of a spin on that. So check the recipe out on our website. And Michael, I got to get out of the kitchen. Lucy's got to have her jam session. I can't jam with her.
Yeah, she's got the guitar and the drums right behind the set. She needs to start working on that. Welcome back to Studio 10 here in the kitchen with Lucy Greer. Lucy, you've done this show for a while, and I think that this is the first time I have ever actually done a cooking segment with you. Is that true?
It is true. I thought that.
This is exciting stuff. This is really exciting. Edge of my seat excitement. Her and I were joking during the commercial break, so I think this is going to be a fun segment.
Yeah, definitely.
What are we working on here?
We have already started on our Mediterranean baked shrimp. What we have in here is 1 can of crushed tomatoes, 1 can of diced tomatoes.
Okay.
We added a little bit of olive oil, some chopped garlic, 1 Vidalia onion chopped up. We added the juice of a lemon, and we added a little bit of wine in here, some dry white wine. And I mentioned if you don't prefer to cook with wine, you can substitute either vegetable broth or chicken broth. And then we added some spices. We have some crushed red pepper, we have some dill, dried oregano, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And we also went ahead and added our shrimp, 1 pound of shrimp, and we
that makes everything better.
It does. Shrimp are one of my
really
favorite foods. If I could eat them every night, I probably would.
You and me both.
And then we added 4 ounces of crumbled feta cheese, and I just used the original one. But if you had sun-dried tomato flavor or garlic and herb on hand, those would be great too. And then I just took an 8-ounce bag of fresh spinach and just gave it a rough chop. And we are just going to add this in here, and like I mentioned before, this is a good way to get some green and some nice fresh flavors,
something healthy in there,
into your dish. And it's just going to cook down. And what I mentioned before is this is great because we just mix it up in a bowl, or you could even mix it up in the baking dish that you're going to use.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, whatever you prefer. And what I've done here is just sprayed a 9x13 with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray. And once this gets mixed together, all we're going to do is put it in there and just pop it in the oven. This is going to take about 35 to 45 minutes to bake for those shrimp to cook through, and this spinach and the onions, they're going to release a lot of liquid, so it's going to come out to be the shrimp and our sauce for our pasta.
It's going to be nice and juicy too.
It is. It's going to be nice and juicy.
You need a hand with that, or you got it?
I think I got it. Thank you. And just cook your favorite pasta according to your package instructions, and you're just going to serve this over it.
Now let me ask you a question, Ms. Greer. Now, rumor on the street is that some new stuff is happening at a couple of your Greer stores, one in particular at the one on Cottage Hill, is that right?
Yes, the rumors are true. We are opening an Ace Hardware right in the middle of our store. We have already started. We have moved around a lot of our shelving, and right there in the middle of the store is going to be a mini, well, they call it an express Ace Hardware. And we're going to have everything from paint. You're going to be able to go in there and mix your own paint. We're going to be able to cut keys, pretty much everything that an actual Ace Hardware store does. And the most important part to me about an Ace Hardware, and one of the reasons why we chose to go with that brand, is because they are the helpful people. We've seen the commercials. We try to be helpful in our grocery stores, so it's kind of a perfect marriage. We're going to have professionals working in the Ace Hardware that can answer any kind of question. The reason why you go to an Ace Hardware for the most part is because it's in your neighborhood, and because they have the people there that can help you along with any kind of project. So we're thrilled to be kind of trying something new, and the Ace Hardware and grocery store combination has been successful in some of the other areas of our country, and not so much around here. So we're excited to be trying it. We're going to have a soft opening on October 15th.
And what I like about that, Lucy, is you put in Ace Hardware, you have their products mixed in with the grocery products that Greer's carries, and it almost kind of makes Greer's essentially almost like a little mini superstore now, which is going to be kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, and instead of having to go to a big box store and trying to,
Right.
navigate all the way through there, you can go to our store, get your groceries,
Yep.
pick up a grill and get your steak.
That sounds like an awesome trip that
Thank
you can
you.
do at Greer stores. Now,
Yeah.
this is the one in Cottage Hill, but are others Greer stores going to be doing this too?
Possibly. We're going to see how this one goes on Cottage Hill, and then we have some that we may consider doing also.
All right. Well, Lucy is going to be putting this dish in the oven. When we come back near the end of our program, Chastity will be in the kitchen, and this thing is going to be looking for a little bit of a taste test, which I know I'm excited about.
Good.
All right, Lucy, we'll check in with you a little bit later. Now for a check of your forecast, here's Chastity.
Now, Lucy, will they help me if I mess up something in my backyard, like completely destroy it? Will they give me advice on that?
Yes, definitely. Come on in and see us. We'll help you with any kind of project.
Lucy, you better not say that. I don't know what I can get you into. Lucy and I have recovered from seeing that video, and now we are cooking here in the kitchen.
Yes.
Of course, it's Wednesday. You come every Wednesday to
Yes.
talk about what's going on at Greer's, and you bring some of the easiest, fastest recipes that we can have. It's great for all you parents out there.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I try to make stuff that isn't going to take too much time. I know time is precious, especially with your family.
Yeah.
These days, everybody's working and go. So I try to do stuff that people can feel like they can do at home, and it's not too hard. And this was our Mediterranean baked shrimp. It is ready to go in the oven. This was our diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes. We had an onion, fresh spinach, lemon juice, olive oil, with some herbs and spices.
And you said this is a good way for kids to get some of that spinach, which we all know is really good for us. Of course, tomatoes and stuff, but they don't really know that they're getting it.
Exactly. We chop that up so it goes all through it.
Okay.
And I'm just dotting half a stick of butter. I just cut up. And this is going to create our sauce that's going to go over our pasta. The vegetables, the spinach and the onions, have a lot of water inside, and so it's going to release and make a great sauce. So we'll just cook our pasta according to package instructions,
Right.
whichever shape is your favorite. Any kind of pasta, wheat pasta is great.
I know you like that one.
I do like that one.
You do like that
Penne
one.
is one of my favorites. And then this is ready to go in the oven. So this will bake at 350 for about 45 minutes.
This looks great, Lucy.
And just until those shrimp are cooked through, and like I said, we're going to have a nice sauce. You'll just spoon it over your pasta. So that's kind of a one dish type thing. We mixed it up in a bowl earlier, but sometimes when I make it, I just mix it up right in the baking dish, so you
Yeah.
don't even have to get that other bowl dirty.
And she's also going to make a salad dressing for us this morning, which I'm really interested in this recipe because you say too, this is fast and it's a great salad dressing, a lighter option.
It is. We are going to use some rice wine vinegar. You find this on the international aisle, or it may be in the vinegars. I should check with our grocery buyer and find out where it is. And this is really great as opposed to always using balsamic or always using red wine.
Right.
Just something a little bit different. So it's the seasoned rice vinegar, and I use 3/8 cup of that, and then I'm just going to use half a cup of our olive oil here. And like I mentioned to you, this salad dressing is really forgiving. So if you just have your lettuce and you don't feel like mixing and measuring, just get your bowl full of lettuce, do a little drizzle of olive oil, a little drizzle of vinegar. We're going to season it up with 1.5 teaspoons of Cavender's Greek seasoning. And that's a great all-purpose seasoning that I like to use for a lot of things. So look for that in the grocery store. It's really good. And a teaspoon of garlic powder.
And mix it up. And of course,
Yeah.
we have that recipe on our website, fox10tv.com. You can get that salad dressing. You can check out this shrimp bake, which looks fantastic. Lucy, as always, thank you for
Thank
providing
you.
some fast options for us. We'll be right back.